So how'd you get started?
So I got started trout fishing with my grandpa back in, when I was like a toddler. It was before
So 2 years ago?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I've been fishing about 2 years now.
Yeah.
No, I was
You said
like
toddler, so yeah.
before I could walk really. I mean, he dragged me down to the river, and it was a rooster tail, and that was it. The orange and black one. That was the only bait I was allowed to use.
What river?
Feather River.
Feather? Okay.
And we used to catch them every time. But no, he was a strict teacher though, so that's where I got, that's where I started to learn really how to cast, how to do all that stuff, and I started loving fishing. And then once you live in Folsom, there's no trout fishing unless you want to go sit at the lake with power bait, and that is not my gig.
That's not trout fishing.
I started looking at ponds around in my town, and then my dad would be nice enough to literally drive me to the pond, drop me off. He'd like sit in the car, read a book, do whatever.
Get out.
Yeah, and I'd sit there and fish at the pond until it was dark after school, like every single day. And then just kind of found out about tournament fishing. That was actually through Justin Lucas. Our moms actually worked together.
Oh.
And then he kind of got me pointed in the right direction with that, and then I just kind of took off with the high school fishing stuff, and then worked the way up teams, pro-ams, and now we're here fishing Apex, and
that's funny.
Seemed like it was a pretty decent ride so far, so it's been fun. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like pretty much my same story. My dad, literally, San Francisco growing up, Golden Gate Park, which we used to get kicked out of all the time, and basically the cops would be like, "You guys can't fish here," and we're just like, "We're fishing." I mean, there's a whole lot of worse stuff we could be doing. We could be tagging on buildings, we could be getting into drugs, but no, we're out there fishing, and we get harassed more for that than tagging on a bus.
I know. I remember one time I pulled up to a lake or a little pond in a neighborhood, and I was fishing it, and this lady rode down and yelled at me, kicked me out. I'm just like, I was just trying to enjoy the water.
You can't fish here. Yeah. You hurt the little fishies. Yeah. No, there's so many stories though. Like, I don't know why people even care. Like, and even some of it's like not even their pond. Like they don't. They're just driving by. You can't fish here. There's a sign that says you can't fish here. Where? Over there. I didn't see the sign.
Yeah, I can't read.
I can't read.
I can't read.
But yeah, no, I mean, I fished for everything, though. I mean, we saltwater fish, we freshwater fish, and then the bass fishing thing was they had a club called Bass Holes, highest tackle box in San Francisco, and I wanted to join their club so bad, but I was too young.
Oh.
And stuff. The infamous, you're too young, you're too young. What do you mean I'm too young? I'm 12 years old, I can catch them. Yeah. Dude, I'm really good at bass fishing.
You probably would catch them better than half the guys in the club, right?
That is very true. So then helped start another club called Bank Bass Anglers in Northern California, and started fishing their stuff and started fishing just lots of little tournaments. And from there, I was fortunate enough when a 1997 Bassmasters comes out here.
Oh.
On the Delta. First one's on the Delta. What am I supposed to do? Not sign up? So the first day guy I drew, he was just like, whatever you want to go do. And I remember I ended up catching 5 fish right there in Big Break, and I was happy, ecstatic about it. And then the next day guy was just like, I have no clue, so we're going to your water. Same thing, stayed in Big Break, flipped the jig the whole time, caught them. But you had Bobby, and he's catching them on a frog. And at that time, I knew about frog fishing, but I wasn't into it. So I was flipping a jig. D's there, he's flipping a jig. Gleeby's there, Robert Lee, like all the main big superstars were fishing at that time. Skeet was there.
The OG Delta.
The OG Delta guys, man. That's those fun times. Big Break, Dobbins, and all those guys. And we won't talk much about Dobbins. Not a huge fan. Dobbins, it's Gary. It's Gary. He's a special guy. But yeah, no, super duper excited about this year. Super duper excited about working with Fisherman's Warehouse. I mean, I know you love your job.
I do. I love working here. I mean, it's fun just to be a part of the industry. I mean, I was working for a coffee distribution company before that.
Starbucks?
No. I wasn't wearing the green aprons,
You weren't the Bartista? Hey, can I take your order?
No, I'm great at that, though,
yeah.
But no.
Triple shot latte.
I mean, it was great. It was a plus job, but I mean, actually getting to do what you love to do for work is a whole different story. I mean, you get to do it at an even higher level, doing the really fishing for a living.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate goal for all of us, I'm sure.
You're close. You're close.
Yeah. So hopefully that's coming up soon. But
couple of good wins, and you have the money to just pack it up and go back east.
Yeah. Don't tell Wayne,
Don't tell
leaving yet, Wayne.
Hey, the deal is you can do your job. Once again, all you need is access to a computer.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can log in, work
Exactly.
at night. I mean, fish during the day, double up. I'm in.
Easy
breezy.
easy money. But no, one of the things I've been starting to try to get more into is the ocean fishing stuff. So, and I got to pick your brain because you're kind of like the every species guy.
Oh, I'll catch it all.
You're from the top level of bass fishing all the way over to the tuna stuff and everything in between. So, I mean, I'm not quite on the tuna level yet, but like let's break down intro to like a little bit of ocean fishing. Where
For you, it starts with one of the boats I go on, California Dawn. Out of Berkeley.
Familiar with them,
Yep. Captain James Smith, one of the best captains out there. One of my really, really great friends. I mean, you can start doing salmon fishing with him. You can do the halibut fishing with him, the rock cod, the lingcod. To me, halibut fishing is all about the feel. You take your crankbait rod, 30-pound braid, same reels that you use for bass fishing. You just go out there, but you watch them and how they bite, and you watch the rod just do that, and you just got to wait until it just starts loading. And that, to me, actually helps with your bass fishing because you get the feel. The salmon fishing is basically understanding what your bait's doing and being able to pay attention to what the bait is actually, how it's swimming and the vibration of it. And then lingcod fishing is swim baits. I mean, who doesn't like to catch swim baits?
Well, I got lucky enough to do one of those lingcod rockfish trips.
Did you? Yeah.
We were throwing the big bar jigs, and I'd never done it before. And one of the guys on the boat, he's actually, some of the guys from Sacramento store, they hooked me up. And they're just like, dude, just lob this thing out. They're like, sink it all the way to the bottom. And then they're just like, rip it up like you're fishing a spoon on steroids. And I remember that first lingcod, I was just like, phew, and then the rod just straight down into the water. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like, this is it.
It broke me off, of course. Because there's that thing with the lingcod where you got to get the first couple handle cranks on them to get them out of the rock.
Yep.
And I froze. Like, when that thing hit, I was like, oh. It was
That's like me on.
It's like a punch bite
10
on steroids.
10 pounder. That's like me on a 10 pounder. I freeze up every time I see one of his heads come up out of the mat or eat a frog or something. You're just like,
just in shock.
I mean, that was this year. I caught a 9 on a frog in a tournament Wednesday nighter. We pull up to this mat. My partner throws his frog, and he starts whining his frog across the mat to make another cast. And I see this buckle. I'm like, stop your frog! And he stops it, and this thing just goes. Whoop. And I'm just like, oh, God, that's a giant one. And he's just like, well, why doesn't he eat it? So we sit there and we fish. Doesn't want to eat. So then we literally start going down the bank. We get 20 feet from the mat. Thing goes, boom, blows a hole in the mat that big. Like, oh, God. So we go back over there. We fish. Nothing. And I'm like, he's there, though. He's there.
Clearly wants to eat.
And clearly wants to eat. I said, tide's not right yet. We're getting in the slack tide. Give it some time. Wait for the tide switch. Come back an hour later. I throw my frog to the edge of that mat. Go, twitch. He just goes, and I froze. I was like, and he's like, you going to get him? Oh, yeah. I got her. And it's a 9. And then the next week, I catch another 9, punching a mat. And the thing comes through the mat, and I see it, and it's sitting there, and I'm just like, dummy, get down there and grab that thing. It's just, so that's what fishing's about. It's just when I lose that, oh my God, excitement, or that I freeze up, then that's when I'm going to quit fishing. But those are the things that I love.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we all live for. Those first, that morning run to your first spot, and you just got the whole day running through your head, and then, you get to your first spot, and then it's just the pressure of like, I just got to get one in the boat first. Like, let's get one. And then, you just slowly work your way up. And then once you get that limit,
Yeah, the tingle. It's the tingle. It's the tingle of the skin in the morning. It's the tingle of that first bite. It's almost like spider sense. It's like, you're on it.
Oh, yeah.
I live for, and that's why I fish. I mean, it's just that feeling that you cannot replace. I always say the tug is a drug.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's, and those tournaments when you've got it wrapped up. I mean, that's like, there's nothing that can ever top that feeling in the world. I mean,
there's very few tournaments though I cannot say I feel that it's wrapped up. I mean, I've had 11-pound leads and lost those in tournaments down to a pound, and so I've always been like, I think I've got 13-pound lead and I've got them good. somebody could catch more, and it's just like it kind of freaks me out. And I've never believed that I've actually had it fully wrapped up. I mean, I've laughed about it, like, yeah, I think I got this, and then you get back and you're like, I barely got this, and it's just like, dang.
Yeah. No, I mean that's one of the cool things about fishing, though, is I mean anybody can win it from anywhere, but I mean not even the win feeling. I mean not that you have to have it locked up every time, but I mean just making one of those top tens when you know you've done that, when you know
the top 10.
And even for me, I mean I fished some Wednesday nighters this year on Folsom, and I'm not kidding. Like when me and my buddy Hunter are fishing them, and there was one we knew we were just smoking them. Like the first hour we had like 11 pounds for our 3 fish, which is amazing
big,
on Folsom.
big,
You're winning. And we literally dropped that fish in the boat, and it's just like we're done.
We're done.
Like, you know. And then we went on and culled up like another like half pound, couple minutes later.
Dude.
I mean, it's just those are the days that are like you can't replace those on the water.
So the Folsom Wednesday nighters are only 3 fish?
3 fish limits,
The Delta Wednesday nighters are actually 5 fish.
Yeah, we only get 3 hours though.
See.
So we fish from like 5 to 8 usually, so we're pretty tight.
Our deal is 3 till dark.
Yeah.
And then whatever time dark is, so we'll get 5 hours, and sometimes and it's. But man, I've had times where I'm like, all right, I got 23, I'm good.
Yeah, no,
28.
Christian rolls in.
Yeah, Christian rolls in. Yeah, Christian's got 28. Like, dude, how'd you catch those? Oh, I caught that one on a rat and one on a frog.
Yeah.
And then my partner threw a Cinco out there, and then he caught another good one on a drop shot, and I'm just like, well, I wasn't gonna catch that fish anyway. So.
See, no, what's the hate for the spinning rods? Because
there is no hate for the spinning rods. It's why bring a knife to a gunfight? And to me, the biggest fish live in the heaviest cover, and a spinning rod can't get those fish. And so, I've won tournaments. I won $100,000 on a spinning rod. I did it in Dallas on a place but I did catch a 7-pounder on a crankbait, fishing the shallow on 12 pounds. But I love that punch rod. I love that flipping stick. I love pitching that big jig in there, and it goes thunk, and you're just like, oh. But the spinning rod, when you get bit, you're just like, oh, I gotta whine and get him and pull set. And it's just like almost kind of lame, almost.
I swing the complete opposite way. I do love catching them on a big stick.
Well, you do have long hair, though.
Take my sissy stick, the fairy wall, whatever everybody wants to call it. But guess what? I'm still going to be most of them the next time we roll to Shasta. So
you do have something I don't have: an Angler of the Year in Apex. And you caught him?
Pro-Ams, actually.
Oh, the Pro-Ams. Oh, Pro-Ams. Oh, he beat even more than 50 of us. He beat everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I don't have that. So, yeah. So
and the spinning rod, you're right. That was a big key for that. Because there's some tournaments where you can catch them on that big stick, but you're really swinging to do it. I mean, and I think that's one of the things when I look at my fishing, I want to be the most versatile person I can be. I might not win as much as a guy like you swinging for it every time, but I'm going to make more top tens than the average, or I'll make more checks or whatever it is, because I'm not afraid to pick up that spinning rod. And honestly, I think one of the most fun feelings that you can ever have is when you're fishing on like Clear Lake or something like that with your spinning rod.
Oh, what?
And
Where?
What? Clear Lake with a spinning rod.
Where?
10-pound test, and I lean back into one, and I'm just like, oh my God. Might be a catfish half the time, That did happen to me this year at the Pro-Am, but it's so much fun. And I mean, to be honest, I feel like I got more control over the fish with a spinning rod. I think I have a better possibility of getting that thing in the boat than if I'm on a I think I understand my gear better and how much pressure I can give to the fish and how much I need to fight that fish in order to get it back in the boat. And I think that's just been growing up with a spinning rod. So.
And that's good for you now. I mean, and right now it's, and this is something that I was told by a very famous angler, Denny Brower. He says, guys that are versatile, they have careers and they win Angler of the Years. Guys who are basically focused on one style of fishing and specialists are guys who win tournaments. And, I'm past that point of wanting to be versatile. I don't have anything to prove. And so now it's all about, for me, winning tournaments. And so that's the only way I feel like I can win the Classic, but I got to get there. And then that's where the versatility. And so there's times where, yes, I will break out the spinning rod. This coming up, and when I fish Shasta, I fish a spinning rod the majority of the time, except for in the Pro-Am Championship. I did not catch a single fish on a spinning rod.
Hey, I threw a baitcaster quite a bit that tournament too.
Baitcaster the whole and braid.
I mean, I was throwing a spoon on it, so it doesn't really count. But,
No, it doesn't.
Whatever.
No, I threw braid. I threw braid the whole time, and
Yeah,
I
you're
was getting,
you know,
catching them on top
little
water.
river to see rover action.
Yes,
right?
it was. It was very, very lot of action, and the tournament winning fish every day, hitting my bait, jumping over my bait, blowing up behind my bait, but not ever hooking up on my bait, which is pretty depressing.
Yeah, that's how it happens, right?
Yes.
I mean, on the flip side though, when it's your time, you're hooking up with every single one of those fish, and it's just like
It's over.
that's how
That's
tournaments
over.
are.
It's
I mean,
over.
when it's your time to win, you
Yeah.
can't do anything wrong. But no, Shasta's gonna be a fun one. I'm looking forward to that. That's fun. And I heard you saying float and fly. You finally getting into that thing?
It's
That's
a little.
like the really sissy stick.
Yeah,
That's
no.
like
No,
max,
that's me
you know?
taking me back to
You're-
being a kid and
Okay,
watching that little
yeah.
bobber go down. There's nothing like that feeling.
I will say my buddies give me crap for the float and fly, but I'm like, until you watch the bobber just
Right.
like launch underwater, it's so much fun.
Right, the bobber is sitting there and all of a sudden it goes bloop, and you're just like, catch him.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
brings
you
yeah,
back
like
to
a
life,
little kid.
being a
It's good old,
kid,
the
yeah.
good old days
Yeah.
and stuff. So, no, it's the spinning rod deal. Once again, I just don't like carrying very many of them. I just it's hard. If I can catch them on a big jig or I can catch them on a big worm or something, and even then a worm, I just don't even like fishing that slow. I want to crank, I want to frog, I want to punch, I want to do everything but throw a spinning rod. But I will do it in times of need because that's what you have to do.
That's why he became, one of the big bass guys, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's the deal.
And spinning rod will catch big ones, but not that often.
No. I mean, I've caught 1.9 in my life, and that's probably because
You only caught 1.9?
I've only caught 1.9. I know, it's surprising.
Back to back 9-pounders in this last year.
I know.
A bunch
I don't,
of big ones.
I don't fish the Delta enough. I don't fish Clear Lake enough.
You fish Folsom. There's a million 9-pounders that live in Folsom.
Dude, if I could, I don't think I've heard of a 9 coming out of Folsom in like the last 5 years. No joke. I haven't.
Nobody
heard.
over there throwing swim baits?
I bet you there's been a couple caught, but it's
Nobody
definitely
talked about
probably
'em.
been kept way under the rug. And I mean, I think the biggest one of my buddies caught an 8 on a big swim bait out there recently.
Are they still planting trout?
I think they're still planting a little bit, but
not
I mean,
the
it's
same
only
as
in
they were.
winter. And the problem with those big fish in Folsom is I think they're so sensitive to that changing water level, and we have the most drastic water changes out of any lake in California.
What did we get, 50 feet in the last week?
Yeah, we've gone up 50 feet in the last week, which is great. I mean, I love that. At least we're going up.
Right.
But you're right. There are some giants in there. I've seen them up north or up in the South Fork. There's an underwater bridge.
Yeah, of course.
Keep that quiet for the Apex one.
Yeah.
No.
That
there's
was
an
nice.
underwater bridge, and I mean, when the water's at the right level, which it won't be for this tournament, but there's brush piles on the front of it, and I rolled up there one day, dead clear water, and I saw, probably 30 fish between 6 to 10 pounds, just
couldn't
sitting
catch
in the
any
brush.
of
They couldn't catch a single one. I mean, it's gin clear water.
Right.
There's not much you can do.
Live,
and I was
live,
also
live trout.
yeah,
Oh, you can't
that's
do
what
that.
I
You
should have
can't
been
do that.
doing.
Yeah, you
And
can't
I was
do
also 12, so I really was just getting into the bass fishing scene. Didn't know quite how to catch those things, but they're in there for sure. So maybe one of those guys when we go there for Apex will stick something big.
Well, I mean, the opportunity I think is going to be there. Definitely with this muddy water that's coming and stuff like that, and those big fish, they just move
End
up
of
shallow
February,
and they
they're
get dumb.
wanting to feed,
And they get dumb.
get fat for spring. So
Yeah, I mean, and it all depends on how. I mean, it's technically hasn't been a cold winter either.
no,
I mean,
it really hasn't. It's been nice.
Don Pedro, the water temperature is 54 right now, and by then, I mean, we could have back in once again mid to low 50s or high 50s, and we get high 50s, and once again, it's just going to be on pre-swan. Sign me up.
Yeah,
I'm in.
that lake's gonna be fun. That lake's gonna be fun, and that's a fun springtime lake, which not a lot of guys go to. But I mean, really, if you want to get out and catch a couple nice spotted bass, and those largemouth are finally starting to show back up there, which I know that probably interests you. But
What about the smallmouth?
they're on they've been on a decline. I mean, I caught a few when I first started fishing that lake, and you'll still catch one here and there, but it's
Not the same.
you
Spots are
can't
taking
target
over.
them. Yeah, you're not going to target them. But no, it's the spots took over really tough for a while, and then finally largemouth are kind of making a little bit of a comeback. That was after that first big flood kind of filling that we got in 2017.
17, yeah.
And then our shad population blew up, and then next thing you know,
The
largemouth
100-year
are back.
flood that they said would never happen. 2017 was the 100-year flood that they said would never happen. because we needed rain, and they said we needed a 100-year flood to happen, and that's the only way the lakes are going to get full, and it's never going to happen. And then like a year later, 2017, it's like poof, here you go, rain, every lake's full, Shasta included. And then now we're 2023, and we're finally getting back. We're finally getting back and getting out of these drought conditions and lots of flooding and puddles. Just it's got to space itself out a little bit more, though.
Yeah,
I'm flooding.
We need that snowpack too.
Definitely need the snowpack.
Keep the water coming the rest of the year.
Yeah, because I mean Sacramento, definitely needs a lot of that. We got the McCullum, the Stanislaus, all that stuff runs straight into the Delta. Mm-hmm. And, as long as the Delta's getting fresh water, that means that we'll have a healthy ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. It should be good this year. It's every lake should be good this year. It's going to be a lot better than it was the last couple of years, that's for sure. Finally get some water in Clear Lake. Get back up in those creeks.
Get back in the Tules. Just
in the
Tules.
Yeah,
I miss the Tules.
If I get to the creeks, even better, but at least just give me the Tule line.
The fish got to follow back in the creeks. It's been so long since they've been back there. I don't think you're going to see it this first year where the creeks play a huge. There's going to be fish in them. Now, the only one would be Rodman. Is those holes that are still in Rodman are still there. There's fish in there, and those fish haven't seen lures for ever.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know I don't even know if there's any water in them though.
Oh yeah. I've got no idea.
But as long as we get water, it'll all be good.
Yeah, we'll find out in a couple months, I'm sure. Because I know I'll be up in there if I can.
Yeah. Well, it's time to get ready for the season. We've ISE. We've got shows, we've got lots of fishing tournaments, and I'm looking forward to it. And we'll have more of these just random talks, on Fisherman's Warehouse. Go to fishermanswarehouse.com and check out the website. You'll see stuff there. We're going to have it on all of our socials. We'll have stuff on YouTube. We're going to pretty much have stuff everywhere for Fisherman's Warehouse. Tips and techniques from, once again, the employees. Yeah. That's the one thing that you get with Fisherman's Warehouse. I know that you don't get a lot of other places, other shops. Fisherman's Warehouse, pretty much everybody that works there fishes. I know at the Manteca store, there's not one person that works there that doesn't fish. From the manager, Oxy, all the way down, Lucian, assistant manager, Gabe, he fishes. Even the cashiers, Jay and Caden, they fish. So everybody fishes.
Yeah.
So
and that's the same in all the stores. And it's not, it's not like one of them just bass fish it, or they all bass fish. They bass fish, they tuna fish,
they trout fish, salmon, they bluegill fish. So you're definitely keyed into getting all the information, and that's what it takes is walking into a place and having someone knowledgeable, because it's going to definitely make you better fishermen. So for us, folks, just stay tuned for our next episode.
All right, it was good talking to you.
Good talking to you.